Now that you have listed and understood the good and the bad of your current and previous jobs, and you have also described your ideal future, it's time to identify your non-negotiables. These non-negotiables will be extremely important in your career because they will provide the boundaries where you can operate at your happiest. But first, we need to discuss three categories that must be taken into consideration: your life, the work itself, and the work environment. First, let's start with your life. Life is what happens outside of work, and it includes how your life is impacted by your career. This can include the time you spend with your family. It can include the money required to keep a certain standard of living. And this can also include the energy you have left at the end of the workday to devote to yourself and your loved ones. In short, this category encompasses the life you live when you're not working. Next is the work itself. The work itself is the very thing you are paid to do. It is independent of where you work, who you work for, and who you work with. This is the core of your job, and it includes the skills and the tools that you're using to get the job done. And lastly, we have the work environment. The work environment is your surroundings when you're working and the impact that they have on you. For example, your manager, your colleagues, the company culture, perhaps work from home flexibility, psychological safety, etc. Everything that comes as a result of solely where you work is the work environment. I found that these three categories encompass the main elements that determine your level of happiness in your job. But you must determine what each of these mean to you and what's included in each of these categories. First, start by creating a comprehensive list of everything that you listed in the previous career clarity exercises. Things that you loved and hated throughout your career, as well as the desires for your ideal future. Then, look for patterns and group them if you see similar or repeated items. After you've created that comprehensive list, categorize each item into one of the three categories we have previously discussed: your life, the work itself, and the work environment. For example, if you wrote micromanagement under something that you hated, list it under the work environment category. If you listed something like visualizing data as a facet of your job that you love, that would go under the work itself category. And if you listed something like spending time with family as a priority, that would probably go under the life category. After each item on your list has found a category, the next step is to sort them in order of importance, leaving the most important on top of the list. And then keep the top 3 to 5 in each column. Keep only those items that are well defined and those that you are not willing to sacrifice, hence the name. These are non-negotiables. For example, if I identified that working from home is a non-negotiable, that is a boundary I must define and enforce in my job search. In my case, I might want to work remotely 100% of the time. So that means that jobs that I'm looking for next have to be 100% remote. This might change in the future, but for the next career step, this is one of my non-negotiables. So take the time and identify your own non-negotiables, define them in as much detail as you can, and set clear expectations. Then we'll see you in the next lesson.